Welcome to Konekt TV. My name is Josh, and this is a Konekt TV and Bold Change Media collaboration. And we have an esteemed guest today. Personally, I'm very excited as well to actually find out more about this person. And it's rare we get people like this visiting. So, man, I'm excited, very excited. So we have Ms.Sarah Chan, who is the manager of African scouting for the Toronto Raptors in the NBA League, National Basketball Association in America. And yeah, man, thank you for coming through. Thank you for coming through. How are you finding it?
Loving it. Well,
Yeah.
Thank you for the platform to share,
Yeah.
and thank you for having me.
Amazing stuff. So I don't want to butcher actually what you do, like I'm sure there's so much to what you do, and we'll get into how you got there and things of that nature. But give us a good description, like who are you, what do you do, and yeah, we'll kick it off from there.
Awesome. Well, I'm Sarah Chan.
Yeah.
A proud African.
Love to hear it.
I'm a manager of African scouting for the Toronto Raptors. I'm the founder of Apediate Foundation.
Yeah.
And a former basketball player.
Wow.
And I also am a development associate with Giants of Africa,
Right.
which uses basketball as a tool to empower the youth across the continent of Africa and beyond.
Right. Amazing. And so what is it that got you here? Like what was the journey like to arriving at your position right now?
Whew. Where do I start?
We can start from the beginning if you like.
Where do I start? So I grew up in Khartoum during the Civil War.
Right.
And also Kenya. At the age of 12, we migrated to Kenya. I started my basketball in Kenya in Rongai.
Wow. Amazing.
At the age of 17. So I started pretty late.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been such an incredible journey. For the past 20 years being a player and also in the business, it's been such a journey that I cannot, honestly, I don't think I have the words to capture it for you, but I'll say that through basketball, I've got different opportunities to get a scholarship to the US.
Amazing.
I played pro in Europe.
Yeah.
I particularly loved Portugal.
Yeah.
It was incredible. But I also played back on the continent,
Mm-hmm.
did my master's, and then ended up volunteering. How I ended up where I am is through volunteering.
Okay.
So I tell the youth, look, don't waste your time.
Yeah.
Put it to work, perfect your craft, and just keep moving. You don't know how tomorrow looks like.
Yeah.
When I started out, I didn't think of it at all. I was just really enjoying sports. It was my safe haven.
Yeah.
When I was on the court for the 2 hours, I forgot everything else.
Yeah.
And it was bliss for me, right?
Yeah.
And I was learning, I was growing, I was meeting people. It has taken me places. Let me just say it has been one, for me, it's been magical. I think if I was to use an English word, magical is what it is. It's not been easy, but it's been worth it.
Right. Amazing stuff. And so I guess talk to us, or even to the audience, about a bit more of a detail of what you actually do. What does, when you say Sarah Chan is a manager of African scouting, for someone who's not really into basketball, into that in that world, what is it that you do?
So I scout the continent for talent that potentially can be NBA level.
Mm-hmm.
We go to events.
Yeah.
We go to clinics. We just have to be present.
Yeah.
We have a network of coaches and also a network of scouts that are looking for that talent. The next Dikembe.
Yeah.
The next Joel Embiid. That's what I do.
Amazing. That's sick. That's incredible. That's incredible. I'm sorry. You might have to bear with my excitement because this is really along my lane. But yeah. So as a woman of color, let's address the elephant in the room. As a woman of color, getting to where you are at the moment, working for such a big corporation, working in the position that you are as a woman of color, what was the journey like in that sort of scope?
That's a great question. Not easy. Yeah. to be from Africa and also from South Sudan,
Yeah.
where, first of all, sports are not considered as
An actual career.
yeah, like why are you playing around?
Yeah.
Do something with your life. Become a doctor, engineer, or
A lawyer.
a lawyer.
The big three. The
Right.
big three. Yeah.
And also being a lady and just how the world perceives you. Traditionally, Africa is still,
Yeah.
For lack of better words, still, prevalently traditional. So this gender roles, there is, first of all, school before everything.
Yeah.
But I am, what I'm so grateful and I'm privileged to have the parents that I have, the support system from home to just allow me to be a kid, allow me to partake in sports, allow me to just grow and enjoy human rights.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then along the way, because of just how much I fell in love with the game, my passion for it, and just how much I started to grow, placed me where I think, let me just say, people that had the same value would align. Then third, I've had incredible, as I was coming into the business, mentors like Masayu Ujiri.
Right.
It's been an amazing big brother, and he has truly set an example for all of us. So you don't have an option but to step into your role. But I'll say that also it's a privilege to work for Toronto Raptors because it is your ability, period. It's not gender. It's what you contribute and your skill set. And to be able to be seen. Because I've been raised, I've been born, raised, and got my opportunities on the continent.
Right.
But to work with such people that are just visionary has been an incredible blessing for me. So in itself, being a woman at some point really doesn't make that big of a difference. It doesn't mean that it was like, it doesn't make that big of a difference, but it wasn't as easy as it usually would be.
Okay.
But passion speaks for itself.
100%. Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. So just to pick up on the support, you mentioned that you have a lot of support from your parents. You had good backing. The parents is like the first support that you actually
especially
need.
my dad.
Yeah, amazing. How did that go? How did
the family dynamics and their response?
How did that work?
So my mom is your typical African mom.
Right. Okay.
I got a scratch on the knee, or I lost a tooth actually in high school. This front one, I was like, no, I know, I will not get married again.
So good.
So I had these two responses, and I always use this example because Mom was like, oh my gosh, like this is dangerous, don't play again. I think we're done. Then Dad respectfully listened, but later on when it was just him and I, he said, look, this has already happened anyway. You might as well continue because now it does not get any worse. And so giving those two valuable, be careful, but hey, you can still be tough. Right? Like that has really helped me to just go on the court and enjoy the game itself as a player. And I never looked at myself as the gender. So that has brought so much confidence. The support is incredibly unmeasurable.
I wanted to ask as well. So I could hear the voice of a child thinking, okay, I want to, like, it's cool you've gotten to the position that you're at, where it's fruitful, it's people can see the impact that you're making, or in terms, whether it's financially, whether it's position wise, like this is something substantial. But as a kid who wants to be a basketballer, you can't see that yet. What would you say to that child? Because I'll probably give us a story of how, at what point did you think, oh, this is the route that I'm going to take? For
any kid that is in it, I'll say this. When I started, I had no idea where I would end up. I pursued it anyway. It was passion that led me. Have passion for it. Be willing to work. coaches, scouts will always find the best of the best.
Right. Right.
Don't work for your coach to see. Don't work because somebody's supervising. Work because you love it.
Yeah.
Don't waste your time.
Mm-hmm.
I always hit people with this reality check. And sorry, I'm going to do it again.
Yeah.
Even if we had 100 years from now, all of us are not going to exist after.
Yeah.
So what is it that you can do right now that it could do so well that you do it so much better than everybody else that places you for, for success?
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
Right? And so if you're going to do anything, do it with the excellence that it requires.
Right.
And this is one of the most important lessons that I've learned from my parents, because it wasn't the easiest. The transition from South Sudan, which was Sudan at the time, during the Civil War, it took, because we were expelled from school. Yeah. We were expelled from school because of our religious beliefs. Right. And they wanted us to read, the Quran. And I'm from, a background of Christianity, and my parents are pastors, so we couldn't. Yeah. And because of that, it really bothered my parents. And we came from a very poor background. Yeah. It did not stop them from pursuing what it is that they believed was their mission, vision, and their goals in life, which was education. Wow. Yeah. Right? And that's what brought us to Kenya in Nairobi and not Kakuma camp, refugee camp in the north. Yeah. Even within that context, they still had pick up menial jobs on campus, cutting grass and breaking, like tiny, whatever they could do to put food on the table and pay for school fees for the rest of my siblings was what they did. So it wasn't easy, but they were willing to work. Wow. They had a goal, they had a vision, and they went after it. And we knew coming into everything, basketball was fun. Right? It was just something you could do and enjoy yourself. But we also knew the privilege of living in peace. Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. The number one thing. Yeah. Just having a platform where you can operate from without having to think about bombs or having to think about life loss. Yeah. Right? So just to have that perspective in place, is one thing that I remind people all the time. Don't take it for granted. Yeah. You're in a peaceful situation. Yeah. You are, as we speak, there's so many conflicts around the world. Correct. It is an unprecedented time that we live in. Correct. But you can go to the basketball court and you can pick up a ball. Yeah. That's and that amazing. Orange ball has taken me to places that I could have never imagined. Amazing. It has opened doors for me to even sit here today. Yeah. Where I can just say, oh, you know what, let me change sceneries and go to Australia for a visit. Yeah. It is that empowerment that comes from not just sports, but also education hand in hand. And that's why I insist on that mentorship. Yeah. I insist on the passion to do things. Yeah. And it's for you. It's not for your parents. Yeah. Yeah. It's not for your parents. At the end of the day. Yeah. It's for your own future. Yeah. So do it with passion, do it with excellence. And I promise, no matter how far it gets you, it will get you somewhere. Because I always tell young people that, look, the reality of this business is, at the end of the day, it's a business. Yeah. It's such a small margin of people that make it to NBA or WNBA. Yeah. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And across every other sport. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's not the only thing that you can do. Yeah. Right? You can be a player, but you can also be an arena manager. You can be you can study sports medicine. You can be a scout. You can be a coach, and it pays too. So whether you make it or you don't make it, you have to have the right attitude going into it, because there's so many incredible things. I love scouting. Yeah. Because I know it changes the lives of people. Yeah. Amazing. Right? Yeah. So. That's so encouraging. That's so very, very encouraging. Yeah. Probably if you could also give us like a little timeline. So passion has sort of driven you. You've got a support system. What's the timeline like? Because you played pro. You've played in different countries as well. Give us a timeline of like where you've played, or how you've got into Ms. Chan right now. Yeah. So from around 2003 is when I actually started playing. Yep. I was 17. Right. Started getting good, and coaches started giving me, opportunities, scholarships, offers, and I started out in Nairobi at USIU 2 semesters,
Wow.
and a coach from the US spotted me and scouted me to come to his program. I went to the US around that time, around 2011. I was done with my program. In fact, interesting fact, 2010, after my national championship, I was invited to the WNBA tryouts at Indiana Fever. It didn't work out for me, but I really enjoyed the experience. Got to meet Coach Gino as well.
Wow.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
And then got my contracts out to Europe. From there, I played in Spain. I played in Portugal.
Okay.
I was supposed to go to France, but I'm a mommy's girl. I missed home. I wanted to be back home. I had been away for so long, and it was my first time leaving. I always knew I'm just going and I'm coming back. So when I went to Europe, and also, you know, I don't know if it has kind of changed now, but I know that the pay was not that good. Especially, you know, the pay disparity between men and women is a thing. So I knew that it was not sustainable for me to keep doing it for the longest. So I came back home and I invested back into my education. I did my master's in international relations in the field of peace and conflict studies. And 2017, when I actually had 2 weeks before graduation, I volunteered to a camp. Just a random camp, because I wanted to make use of my time. And just looking to learn and also teach. And I ended up at a camp that was being run by NBA coaches. And there was a president of one of the teams there who was Masai Ujiri. I didn't know that at the time. I was just incredibly enjoying myself, learning from all of these coaches and also teaching the kids and just, you know, engaging. And after the camp, a couple of days after, I get a call. And I was not part of the local coaches. I was the only South Sudanese, one of 2 female coaches that was there. And Masai called me and basically told me that my values and their values align, and if I wanted, you know, to work with them. And it started out from Giants of Africa. Scouted for a little bit for Giants of Africa, but also directed camps and all of that stuff. Couple of years in, they saw the caliber of the kids that were coming to the camps and whatnot, and that's how I started to elevate, and that's how I ended up on the other side, because Giants of Africa is Masai's foundation. On the Raptors side of scouting, and also started getting promotions as well.
Amazing. That's so sick. Wow, that's incredible. So I'm just
so it can happen in like different sorts of ways. There's no one pathway to where you need to get. You just, you know, put your heart into it and people will see it, and passion meets opportunity, and boom, people think it's, you know, but it's everything that you put in, your, you know, blood, your sweat, your hard work.
Amazing stuff. So now you've, let's say, to pick a point in your time where you're being viewed by coaches, you yourself are being scouted before you even have an idea of what being in a position to scout others is like. What do you do when you're going to evaluate? So you're going to camps, you're going to programs, you're going to clinics. What are you looking for in a child? You mentioned that passion meets opportunity, of course, but I'm sure there's a scope of other things that you're also looking at when you're scouting. So what is it that what's your evaluation process as a scout?
Well, I'll say this, and one of the things that athletes think is going to always just put them ahead of everybody's talent, but that's the last thing that we're looking at. The first thing that we're looking at is your intelligence, then your character, and then your talent last. Right? And so when it comes to the talent part, you might find players that are as talented, like equal talent, but then character and, you know, everything else is
separates
different.
them.
But overall, if you just to see from outside before they actually, you know, maybe even play, you're looking at the NBA positional size. That's one, athleticism. And also just the skill set that can be developed into an NBA level. That's what we're looking at. And then now when it comes to character and everything else, you want to look for a player that is coachable, a player that will, you know, will get into the system, will work with his teammates or her teammates. You're looking for a player that overall is somebody that is a good human being that can fit into your system.
Right.
Although all of these incredible things that they do, adds to it.
Amazing. So you mentioned it's talent lost. It's intelligence and character is a big part of it as well. Is it? Do you have to be clued up on a lot when you talk about intelligence? In what scope are you talking intelligence? Is it just about the game? Is it about your attitude? Is it about
everything?
It's everything.
It's everything. It's overall, because you have to report on a player.
Right.
If they have a nasty attitude, you have to say that. You don't want to co-sign and then something happens.
Give you a bad rep.
Right. And also when you watch players play, an intelligent play.
Yeah.
So you see it, and you coach as well, right?
Yeah. So, to some extent, yes. Yeah. You can see from afar, sort of thing. Yeah. If you're in the game for good long enough, you get to see things firsthand. Right. That's amazing. And how do you stay updated on emerging talent? I'm guessing, of course, you're well traveled because you have to as well. It's a part of your job. But how do you stay clued up on what's the best places to visit, or how do you make those decisions of I need to visit this place, visit that place? How do you find the gems in Africa?
So to be able to operate as a successful scout and to find the spaces to locate this talent, it's everywhere.
Right. Yeah.
Right. You attend clinics. We pay attention to the domestic leagues.
Yeah.
We pay attention to the Basketball African League that is taking place right now. This is the fourth season. It's incredible. We also go to basketball clinics. We do go to events, basketball events. We do go to domestic leagues generally, but also pay attention to the Basketball African League to find those gems. And our focus is on the younger players. You're looking for potential that still can be developed into an NBA, level.
Yeah.
Wow. And we also have like different coaches.
Okay.
And may I humbly, brag about the Raptors having the most scouts on the continent.
Yeah.
So it makes it that much more easy to have different eyes on the ground, different locations of the continent, and the different networks that you have through the coaches and federations and all of that make it easier for you to just find out what is happening and be present. Yeah. But the most important thing for scouts is to be present at the source.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Amazing. So
and also academies. Okay. Sorry. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
The academies around for instance, the NBA Academy in Senegal. I hear, there's the Canberra.
Yeah.
How am I saying it right?
Yeah.
Canberra.
And
all of that, spaces like those where we would go and also look at the talent that they have, evaluate it, but would also go to like the different leagues, local domestic leagues that are there, but also the different levels of leagues that are happening.
You mentioned BAL, which from where I stand, I've seen a lot of growth quite recently. Yes. Like it's grown quite a bit. Amazing things. Yes. Like you have people coming from overseas to play in the BAL for a change.
Dwayne Wade's son was there.
Yeah, Zaire. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Zaire. Yeah, he's playing in there as well, and emerging talent that are playing for their national teams, and you see almost an emergence of people representing their countries now, rather than going to looking for opportunities overseas or abroad. It's like, let's build our countries.
Let's retain our talent.
Right.
Let's make the league so strong that people are coming in. Yeah. And it's not our talent's always going everywhere.
Yeah.
My hope is to, see it one day at the level where interchangeably NBA and Basketball African League can, have players be traded around.
Right. That is the goal.
Yeah.
That is the goal.
And also to have like a, hopefully a women's basketball African league as well.
Yeah.
It's my hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned even with the women's league.
Women's league.
One of my cousins actually goes to she traveled to Senegal a few times.
Okay.
And she was showing me like her trophy cap.
Oh.
Man, she's doing well. She's doing very, very well.
Good
Shout out to
job.
Priska. Yeah, shout out to Priska. Love you, man. But yeah, so you're seeing all this talent, this uprise of talent, and African countries, the national teams going abroad, playing in the World Cup, doing tours around, doing the tournaments. We recently had South Sudan playing against Australia and
us.
Amazing stuff. And you have the likes of people that play in the NBA or even people that are playing from the NBL who came to Australia as refugees, representing Australia or even representing South. They can represent Australia.
Yeah.
We know they're South Sudanese.
Yeah.
We know they're African.
Yeah,
we really,
both homes,
100%. And so could you also, I guess, give us light of understanding also a player's background? So you mentioned that you definitely say the most of it is usually you look at uprising talent. So probably younger players who you can then sculpt into the players that you would love to see, set them up for success, to understand how you would assess the background and, give us a bit more into that. Like how do you go about evaluating where they're from, the background, with the support that they need? Because,
I'll say this. It's very important, extremely important for you to understand a player's background, for you to understand how you could, or how you could support them to fully reach their potential.
Right.
My own example, when I played college ball in the U.S., coming from the African background, coming from a South Sudanese setting, first generation sportswoman, and also how our parents used to speak to us. It was different. My dad, if he got really angry, his voice lowered. And you knew if he said, Sarah,
and it's
done.
Yeah.
Now, my coach, who is Caucasian American, did not know. He was being general coach. I was not used to that because also coming from the coaching in Africa, not all the coaches are shouting as much, but I know the intensity. And the basketball culture in America is different.
Right.
And he was treating me how he treated every other player. But he didn't understand the higher his voice went, the lower I got and I shut down. And so that happened a couple of times and I would just shut down and let it be. And I was one of the really good players and he was so distraught. Like he didn't know how to approach me.
Right.
He had to call my dad every week to try and find out how to deal with me. It was not out of disrespect that I shut down. It was a system that I'm used to and a comfort zone. Like I know.
It's natural to you.
So he had to start contacting my father and he found out that he does not shout at us. So he started to learn how to find the midway because there's some players that you might need to give them a little bit extra, tender love and care. There's players that you might have to give a reality check. Different players come from different, backgrounds, and that affects how they respond or react to what it is that a coach is, trying to throw at them. And so it's very important that you understand the background of players so that you know how to effectively get them to where they need to get.
Amazing. So that makes a lot of sense. So getting up to the point you are at the moment, of course it's due to your ethic. Like there's a lot about you that has gotten you to where you are at the moment, right? So I was going to give you like a little segment to now brag about yourself. Who are some of the names that you were attached to in terms of scouting?
All right, so
Go
I'm kidding.
Go for it. Talk your stuff.
All right, so first I'll start with, we have a team of scouts on the continent. So it's not only going to be Sarah or just Abel or just, our other guys or Mike, but Christian Kololo.
Okay.
Yes. A Cameroonian young man. He attended Basketball Without Borders.
Right.
He was in the second round draft 2022.
Amazing. Yeah.
He moved to California,
Yeah.
where he, played at Sierra Canyon.
Amazing.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right.
Sierra
Canyon.
Canyon.
And
Yeah,
he played
yeah.
with like some of this great NBA players like LeBron's son,
Yeah.
Dwayne
Bryce
Wade's
James.
son, Scottie Pippen's son, and all of that. So, and then
That's
and then when he went
amazing.
to Arizona,
Yeah.
then we already had seen his developmental path.
Okay.
We knew him too.
Mhm.
So of course, and he's with us now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff. Now, as we come to sort of like the last fraction of the interview, advice for young players. So you're talking to a 16-year-old, 14-year-old who plays rep for their community or like their suburb. What are the do's and don'ts? Because I think you're the perfect person to give that, because you're the ones you're like the middle woman. It's like when you start playing basketball, the ultimate goal is like, I want to get to the league.
Yes.
For a man or a woman, I want to get to WNBA. I want to get to the NBA. I want to get to a place where I can get played. I can get paid to play.
Yes.
To do this thing that I really enjoy. What are a quick list of do's and don'ts as a young player?
Well, that's a wonderful question. I'll say it in the words of Masai Ujiri. Masai says, "Let your passion supersede your ambition."
Right.
Yeah, we all want to get to the NBA, WNBA, but there's work in between.
Right.
And it's passion that will lead you to get there. So work. Don't get tired of working.
Yeah.
But also say this, you have to believe.
Yeah.
You have to believe that you can. There's no shortcut. Work is what will get you there.
Right.
Outwork the next person for you to be the best.
Right.
The coaches and scouts and everybody is looking for the best. And if you're the best in everything that you do, you will be found. But also remain humble and learn who you are.
Right.
And be comfortable with who you are.
Yeah.
I was always the skinniest, the tallest, the blackest, as you can see, proudly.
Beautifully.
No matter where I went to.
Yeah. Yeah.
The reason I even started in the beginning and said I'm a proud African is because I'm Sarah Chan.
Yeah.
I'm from South Sudan.
Yeah.
And there's nowhere else in the world that I would have ever wanted to be born in than there. Because where we are born, how we are created, how you look like, the backgrounds, your experiences, everything that you're going to acquire, that you've already acquired until where you are, is meant to happen for you to get to learn those lessons, also keep moving forward. Yeah. Before, when I got the scholarship to go to the US, I was hesitant. And as I was about to leave, my dad sat me down. Yeah. And I am so grateful. And when I say supportive family has given me confidence, it's that, but also everything else around. So starting from family, my dad sat me down and he said, "My daughter, you are beautiful just the way you are." Wow. He said, "If anybody looks at you any different, it says more about them than you. They are projecting." Yeah. And I've taken that on, and it has helped me navigate different scenarios, the bitterest of bitter scenarios, the happiest of happiest scenarios. Because Dad said, "Go and be our ambassador. You're an ambassador to this family." Wow. So I took pride in knowing the family that I'm representing, in knowing the country that I'm representing, in knowing the continent that I'm representing. Yeah. So no matter where you come from, you have to be proud of where you come from. I don't come from the easiest backgrounds. Yeah. There's still, right now as we speak, there is conflict in Sudan, and thousands of refugees and returnees are coming to my village. Yeah. I was in my village last month. I paid to go there by myself because the teachings that my family had when we're leaving Sudan or come to Kenya, and the journey where life has taken me and back, I've never forgot what they told me. As children, they said, "Focus on education. It will one day become your father and your mother." I hated that because I know they were preparing us for should they not be here. Yeah. No child wants to hear that. Yeah. Fast forward, here we are. without the education, without the home training, without the support of different people, but also without me having to listen. If I was not obedient, I would not get to where I am today.
Right.
The Bible says obedience is better than sacrifice.
Big time.
You know? And so all of this lessons along the way, and stay humble.
Yeah.
If I had decided to do otherwise and not persevere through, I would not be enjoying the fruits of my labor now.
Yeah.
We can't give up.
Yeah. Right.
We can't give up. You just have to know you are uniquely created.
Yeah.
With my big ears, that's exactly how I was supposed to be created.
Right.
Who is anybody else to tell me otherwise?
Right. Big time. Yeah.
Who is, and also, why are you believing them? It's not going to be easy, but such is life. And we have to weather it through, and we have to keep pushing. I played in different countries. I've been called different names. I've experienced the worst of racism. Someone even spat on my face.
Right.
When I was playing on the continent in Algeria. I'm just like, even in Africa, now where are we going to, you know?
You can't safe anywhere, man.
But I could have retaliated and fought, because I thought to myself, you know what? I can probably take this dude. You know, I could probably, but he's probably used to violence anyway. What good is it that I continue with everything that he's learned?
Right.
I can do different. And at the back of my mind, you are beautiful just the way you are.
Right.
Go into the world and be our ambassador.
Yeah.
Whoever thinks otherwise, and even spitting on you, and you wipe it off, because it does not reduce my value.
Right.
I'm still Sarah.
That's it.
I'm still the daughter of the continent.
Yeah. There you go.
I keep moving regardless.
Yeah.
But that's a personal choice that I had to make. Young or old, or no matter where you are. It doesn't mean that you won't feel bad as a human being. You will feel some sort of way. Look, the end goal, and if you know what and I hope these young people are writing down their goals. Write your goals down. My father used to make us do that, and we didn't like it. We really didn't like it. Like, okay.
Here we go.
Oh, man. Here we go again. Get your notebooks, write down your goals, and, But we, fast forward now, you look back, and because of writing down our goals, even when we had nothing, and I'm telling you, where we've come from, if we can make it this far, everybody else can. Right. You just have to be willing to put in the work. You have to stay humble while working. You have to believe in yourself. Have that pride. I don't care what it is that life throws at me. There's nothing that I cannot overcome, because from day one, when you were created, you and your DNA, everything that's meant for you to succeed is in you. You just have to, it's like a seed put in you. You just have to plant it.
Amazing.
And you have to water it every day. You have to be patient with the process. You have to be willing to perfect your craft. You have to, I'm a religious person. I was always guided by the biblical principles. It's possible. God is with you. It's tomorrow. We didn't wake up by our own might today. And even if you're not, religious, here you are today. There's a reason that you're here today. It's people that have passed away. May God rest their souls in peace. But the reasons that you're here today. Ask yourself, why am I here? What is my purpose? The reason. And every morning that you wake up, be grateful for the gift of life, for the gift of one another. Be an example in your community. For the young people out here who have siblings, start at home. Your younger sister, your younger brother. Be an example to them. It is your everyday practices that get you to where you need to go. And then years and years on, everything piles up and people see the success and they think, oh my God, David or Atieno or so-and-so is so successful. But no, it's every day, the work that you put in that's, surmounts to the person that you become. And people see all these flowers, but they don't see the roots. How deep the roots are. They really are. So what I'll say is take out giving up, take out I can't, all of these things, because words are powerful. Speak into your life. And I hope that they all have words of affirmations every day if you're struggling. And I know when I was younger, I struggled with self-esteem. You know, I was the blackest kid. People were always pointing it out. I was always a taller girl. And I felt some sort of way, right? But I also had, on this other side, whether I believed it or not, where family's telling you you're this and you're that. And I'm telling you that it doesn't matter what people say about you. It's what you say about yourself. Right. Look in the mirror. I'm strong. I'm a leader. I'm beautiful. I am able. Mm-hmm. Because I'll tell you this, from my heart to this young people, I understand the struggle. Mm-hmm. I have been there. I'm still going through it. I still work with the young people. I was humbly, I say that I was recognized to the BBC 100 Women last year. Wow. And amazing. Part of it is mentorship. Yeah. And so I want to tell them that you are enough and you are capable. Right. It's what you do with the time that is allocated to you that will make or break you. Yeah. Surround yourself with good company. Right. Who you're with can take you there or take you otherwise. Take you somewhere else. Yeah, it's a make or break. So it's as serious as that. But also remember, life is to be lived. Do the right thing whether anybody's watching you or not. Yes. And we don't have that much time on earth. Even 100 years is not enough for us to be able to impact how we should. Yeah. So make sure that you're doing what you need to do so you can, at the end of your life, hand that over to the next generation, be it your family or whoever it is, and say goodbye in peace. Yeah. So amazing. I'll leave them with you're able, you're capable, and you can do it, but be willing to work because it's all possible. Man. And I hope they live up to their goals and dreams and aspirations because it's all within your reach. Yeah. Man, you are preaching to the choir right now. You are preaching to the choir. Thank you so much. I was going to ask you any final words, but I think you've concluded that very well. Put the last dot? Yeah, 100%. Okay. Mic drop. I got to drop the mic. Little mic drop. Now, I really appreciate you coming through today. I think it's been a real opportunity for me, even for me, asking you these questions, not from a point of just getting information, but even things that I can apply in my own little box in my life, you know. I think you've really hit the nail on the head and like on guidelines, you know, on guidelines, and your story is definitely one worth hearing, listening to, and learning from. Really hope to see you again. We can have a part 2, you know? If you ever visit Australia, you know where to tap into. Okay. Thank you. And this is so, I think it's such a good opportunity, and thank you so much for coming through. No, thank you for having me. And thank you for the being on Konekt TV. I've been Josh. This has been Ms.Sarah Chan. And we wish you the best of success. Thank you. And yeah, man, God bless. Thank you so much. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you for the platform to share. Yeah. And I wish you guys the best as well. I think you're doing an amazing job. Keep on. So much. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. There you go. There you go. That's a wrap. That's a wrap. That was sick, man. I'm back here. That was so, yeah. Oh, man.